Here I was, enjoying a quiet night after a relatively stress-free day, until, while about to go to bed, Fire Emblem Engage dropped one of the most mind-boggling gameplay trailers I've ever seen in my life, on top of character information and an expansion pass. This was a torrential downpour of info in the form of 2 trailers, a website update full of new characters, and their usual Twitter feed. So in order to cover everything, I'll be breaking this series of news down into separate videos day by day. Today we'll be covering the expansion pass first, because even in Japanese there was plenty to understand and not that much to translate, and I think an English trailer won't be necessary to understand what's happening. So today's video is all about the expansion pass, what the trailers included, and my personal thoughts on whether you should buy it right now. Before we start though, a quick message from my Patreon. If you want access to behind-the-scenes videos, gaming sessions, we literally played Smash Bros. Ultimate for like 2 hours the other day, community Q&As, and just being a part of a small community that's been around for years, please check it out. You can support me and the channel directly for as little as $4 a month. Now, the video. The first wave of DLC will include 2 emblem bracelets, Edelgard, Dimitri, and Claude's. Yes, all 3 share 1 bracelet, and young Tiki. Bracelets are used instead of rings in this case to keep consistent with the 12 rings in the main narrative, and as seen with Alear having a blue aura around when Edelgard is summoned, that is indeed what's going on. Also included are in-game support items, boots, a Seraph robe, energy drop, spirit dust, secret book, speedwing, goddess icon, Draco shield, and a talisman will be received the first time you visit Somniel in Chapter 5. For in-game accessories, we have the rare set, frilled band, big ribbon, single earring, round specs, and for a final item, the silver card, a rare item last seen in Fire Emblem Awakening, which cut costs of armories and shop prices by half. In Engage though, this is discounted to 30% less. And speaking of sharing rings, in a quick shot of said trailer, it's possible to see Ephraim standing right next to Rosado in spite of wielding Erica's ring, which all but confirmed that him and his sister share the same ring, which on the official Japanese site officially confirmed this with this image. Engage having DLC ready at launch is far from surprising. Every Western released game starting with Awakening had Day 1 DLC announced before the game itself dropped. In Engage's case, its wave beats look similar to Three Houses. Being miffed about Day 1 DLC is understandable, and I'm not going to pretend I like the practice or anything, but this is Fire Emblem. It sucks, but it is what it is. I also want to emphasize that I personally don't believe this DLC pass is necessary at the moment. Bracelets, like rings, are incredibly broken, equipable items, and the emblems themselves do not have any support conversation capabilities as far as we know, and any support conversation or character interaction you could look forward to is definitely going to be uploaded to YouTube anyway, so it's not like you're missing anything there except for the personal hands-on experience. These items go beyond aesthetics and directly into enhancing the gameplay experience, and even if, as we will talk about these mechanics in the trailer, these 2 bracelets are strong, the 12 base rings are very polarizingly strong already, and it actually does give me concerns that they're almost too broken. But still, these are just glorified items to be purchased, and I don't think it's necessary to get in a single player campaign. I will get it for content purposes because I'm a YouTuber and that's kind of my job, but for my first playthrough, which I intend to be on the hardest difficulty available, that will be vanilla, without any DLC. I also think that the silver card being DLC is the biggest bait here. This item has historically been a hidden one in the series, and even if discounted to 30 instead of 50, is more of a Fire Emblem Heroes-like transaction offer than the bracelets right now. Not a big fan, all things considered. In any case, with bracelets coming later in the game's lifespan, the once shot down hope of seeing more iconic characters like Alm, Seliph, Eliwood, Hector, Chrom, Robin, and so on is now possible. Now let's talk about the expansion pass trailer. This trailer has several fun little things I'd like to point out. Classic overworld exploration is here. This feature in Fire Emblem games has been in and out of the series, only being present in Gaiden, Sacred Stones, Awakening, and Echoes. Comparing this quick clip to these though, it's pretty evident that it's most like Awakening in my opinion, with the world being kind of this spherical kind of thing. Like in the expansion pass information, this cutscene between Vander and Alear ought to take place in Chapter 5. The bracelet's design is really neat, and it's based off the Academy outfits designed in Three houses. In the scene itself, Alear is shocked that the 3 emblems are in the bracelet at once. In the emblem menu, bracelets will be distinguished from the rings. Despite not being as relevant as the rings narratively, they have the same kinds of bonuses and boons, providing unique abilities and style bonuses if the wearer's movement and weapon type corresponds. As far as Edelgard's skills go, she has Combat Diligence, Stratagem, Raging Inferno, Martial Arts, and this is roughly translated as Infinite Moonflower Wind Slash, which is probably something more graceful sounding in English when it's localized, but yeah, those are the style bonuses. By the way, in the map itself, you can see Ephraim with a combat staff icon mixed in with a normal staff icon. This could denote combat staves, as those are now a thing. And yeah, there is a series precedent to this, I guess, because Fire Emblem Heroes had combat staffs, but in case you didn't know, combat staffs were technically a thing in Radiant Dawn because healers could bonk people on the head with their sticks. At 54 seconds, we see how the 3 houses bracelet works as it switches emblems. Interestingly, even with Claude as the lead, the Emir is still equipped. Once Edelgard is called up though, we see Alear in an academy getup triggering the bond skill with the crazy name. This special attack calls on not just Emir, but Eredbar and Failnaught in the animation. At 1 minute and 13 seconds, there's a clip showcasing Pedigree, which is a skill that boosts experience gain by 120. This ability wasn't initially present in the first clip with Edelgard in the emblem menu, so maybe this ability is learned later somehow. I'm not terribly sure, but this clip does look like it's happening in a later part of the game. In the clip with Tiki, she's very excited to meet everyone. Translating the emblem menu, she comes with 3 Dragonstone weapons: Frost Breath, which is what Jade uses in combat, Eternal Claw, which is what she also uses, and Smash Tail. I thought it was interesting that for all breaths, Frost was chosen. Tiki is a divine dragon, so one would expect a divine dragon stone or breath attack. But savvy series veterans may remember that in Fire Emblem 1 and Fire Emblem 3 Book 1, Tiki, a divine dragon, actually used Ice Breath. The fun thing about Manichees is that they can use any dragon stone they want. As for abilities, there's Protection of the Star Sphere, which is described as basic ability is increased upon leveling up, which I'm pretty sure just means that growths are boosted when equipped. Dragon Transformation, and Divine Dragon's Blessing. In combat, once she's engaged, the user unbelievably gains the power of being a Manicheet themselves. Interestingly, her bond skill actually helps allies. Divine Dragon's Blessing gives a Resurrection Stone, which I'm guessing gives a miracle type effect. The decision to focus on the Star Sphere is interesting. In FE3 Book 2, Chapter 14, Marth is only able to recruit Tiki if he collected all 12 star shards throughout his journey, whereupon Goto restores the Star Sphere from said shards. Even closer to home, the Star Sphere in FE3 boosted growth rates by 30% across the board, so there's a couple of FE1 and FE3 references being invoked here, unsurprisingly, but still pretty interesting if you didn't know. After the bracelet showcase, we see a lot of outfits ending with a card explaining the roadmap of DLC in the pass. My growing concern over the sheer power of emblem rings and now bracelets gets larger as time goes on. Seriously, I have no idea how they're going to balance this many extremely powerful and equipable options at the same time. It's a no-brainer that an expansion pass revolving around more characters would be a thing. Despite my sentiments over what is basically going to be on-disc DLC, for this wave at least, like I said, I will be purchasing the expansion pass for at least content purposes anyway. I think Tiki, Dimitri, and Claude look good in their forms here, but Edelgard got the short end, no pun intended. She looks quite young in certain shots, and distractingly different in my opinion than in her 3 houses appearance. But not even her younger self looks like this? It's hard to pin down, but I'm sure you understand what I mean. I really hate to say it because Edelgard is one of my favorite characters, and I don't really like being critical of art style because, you know, those are preferences and the art director approves of this at the end of the day, but I really hate to say it, I think she's the worst looking emblem unit so far. Besides the expansion pass, there's a ton of content that I'm going to have to parse throughout the next coming days. Thankfully, this expansion pass trailer didn't have much narration, dialogue, and it was short in terms of translation goes. So far, I'm pretty confident I can publish this accurately, even in Japanese, despite an English version probably being released within the next 24 hours. The new character bios and the new gameplay trailer is a massive ordeal to go through, and one I'm not going to break down until the English version is released. In any case, that will do it for this video. Anyway, what do you all think of the expansion pass, the Fodlan Trio and Tiki skills, the silver card being DLC locked? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Please support the channel if you would like this content and my Fire Emblem Engage coverage, and I'll see you in the next one. Deuces.